All right. Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, gamers. As you might be able to tell, I'm feeling a little under the weather. But it's Friday, and that means we have to do another TikTok reaction, even though I'm literally dying. But you know what else is dying? All the poor people. Anyway, I just took some cold medicine, and it was the nighttime cold medicine, so I might knock out soon. And what better way to knock myself out than while watching Dark Dimension TikToks? Whoa! So, I do apologize for all the coughing, sniffling, and wheezing that I'm going to be doing this reaction, but time is money. I make none of it, so we have to be on top of our TikToks. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, the Dark Dimension TikTok series is a series where I go over some videos that I find on, obviously, TikTok that basically show how fucked the world really is, because people have the wrong fucking idea. They think everything is happy and sunshine and rainbows, when in reality, if you know the full reality, there is good. Yes, there is. But there's also bad. And there's much, much more bad than good. And I'm here to prove it. I'm here to shatter people's disbelief and false realities. And I'm also here to vindicate myself, because I always say this and people call me a depressing doomer. I'm just kidding. They don't call me that. They just call me depressing. But I'm basically trying to prove myself right. And my gift is sickness. So, without further ado, let's get into episode 37 of the TikTok reactions. But before we get into it, some things that I have to obligatorily say before each of the episodes. Number one, we are way more than a month behind at this point. We used to be trailing about a month behind every time I did these. But I've honestly been on TikTok so much more, and I've sent myself so many. We just don't go through them fast enough because I have to talk for 20 minutes about one video. So I don't think we're ever going to catch up unless I become unemployed, which hopefully happens soon. And I do these en masse, but who knows? But anyway, we're more than a month behind, and I haven't seen these in so long. They're basically new to me as well as you, the dear viewer. And aside from that, as I always say, we have to doubt what we see on the internet. We have to be careful, take what we see here with a grain of salt, because as I've shown in previous videos, of which I'm going to repeat 97% of the things I've said there, a lot of stuff you see is sometimes false, and even on older videos, as I've proved, things have been false, and then they've done follow-ups to prove that they're false. So, again, just don't trust whatever you hear on the internet, kids. But anyway, let's get into episode 37 of the Dark Dimension TikTok. We kept the intro short today. So let's see what we're doing. Let's see what we're dealing with. Also, actually, the music's fine.
Sir, you've had an accident. We're going to put you in the ambulance and get...
So for those of you who don't know, this guy is like really funny. I love setting myself this guy. Dr. Glaucoma Flecken. Or sorry, Dr. Glaucoma. I thought that was glaucoma. I don't think he's a real doctor, but I don't know.
Get you over to the... Whoa, hold up. I'm not taking an ambulance.
And also, for those of you wondering what food is on the menu today, I'm pretty sick, so I haven't been eating too well today. I've actually barely eaten. So I thought I have to replenish my energy with some yogurt of the, what is this? Of the blueberry variety, and some curry chicken, which once I start eating that, one of my hands is literally going to become incumbent. Whatever the fuck that means. So, that's the palette for today. And, yeah, hopefully that cough medicine starts kicking in. That doesn't make me too sleepy, but suppresses the cough, because it's been bad. But anyway, almost as bad as the health insurance that's about to be talked about.
No, you really need to go to the hospital.
My insurance won't cover an ambulance.
Mine
I'll just
neither.
walk.
You fell off a 30-foot ladder. Your legs are broken.
You know what's crazy? Apparently, ladder-related injuries are the leading cause of construction death. And I don't know if that's true, but I did hear it from a reputable source. And this is where just think about the reality, right? Think about this reality where now, even if I look it up, even if I cite my sources, I'm still unsure if it's actually true, because now you can't even tell if the source is legit or not. Even if it's from the government lies to us, as I've hopefully showed people. So, again, we're getting to a point where I can't even trust anything Like, bro, even if I look it up on the internet and I go to like a somewhat reputable source, I still might think I could be wrong, which is crazy.
Yeah, your knee is pointing backwards like a dog or a small horse. But don't
Mm.
worry, this is an emergency. Your insurance is going to cover it.
No,
Yeah,
it
unless
won't.
the ambulance company is out of network.
Which it always
Actually,
is.
Congress passed the No Surprises Act in 2021,
Oh?
which prohibits surprise billing for an out-of-network emergency
Oh,
service.
really?
But that bill doesn't include ambulances.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it includes
Oh.
ambulances. No, he's right. It doesn't include ground ambulances. It does include air ambulances.
Well, they
Why
can
would
bring a
that bill
fucking
include
helicopter.
not a ground ambulance? There are so many emergency transport services operated by municipal and county governments that all the different state regulations gave Congress a headache, so they just
Wow.
left out ground ambulances.
And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this shit? This is where Congress got like annoyed, right? This is their fucking job, and Congress is so fucking stupid and playing their own political game with each other, where they're just throwing mud at each other instead of helping the people. Excuse me. That like this is the shit that happens. This is your fucking job that you're paid way more than you should, and then you do insider trading, which you shouldn't to do. And they can't even do their job properly to help the people. They're trying to nickel and dime the people as if the lobbying wasn't enough and the insider trading wasn't enough. Fuck Congress, fuck the government, and my new band, Siskill.
A helicopter.
The hospital's only 2 blocks away.
Take the
Well,
helicopter.
can I call my insurance company and check with them?
I'm sorry, we just don't have time. So Congress left out ground ambulances from the No Surprises Act, which, by the
Amazing.
way, is one of the most common surprise bills that people get,
Yeah.
simply because it was hard to figure out.
Yup. Think about that. And you know what's crazy? For a long time, I didn't even know this, so this is where it's actually true. I do think one of the biggest surprises that people figure out is the ambulance actually costs money, even though it should be funded by either the state or the federal government, which it probably is in some capacity, hopefully. It still costs you money because you need your life saved. Oh, you need to pay to live. You need to pay just to exist. In fact, I might title this episode that you need to pay to exist. Fuck. Ugh.
Oh,
I just
please
titled
don't
this the
nod.
sick
You
episode.
technically don't have a C-spine anymore.
Oh
Well,
my
yeah, but they
God.
said they're going to revisit it later, and, Congress typically
Yeah, okay, later my ass.
does what they say they're going to do.
Wait, so how much am I in the hole for having you guys come save my life?
$1,200, give or take.
Wow.
But only 50% of ambulance rides result in an exorbitant out-of-network bill, so
50's pretty
chances
big.
are you'll be fine.
All right, let's go. I hope taking the time to have this discussion doesn't impact your job performance metrics.
Nah, this is America. We factor in a lengthy discussion about insurance coverage into our call response times.
You know what's sad? Why the fuck are there metrics with saving someone's life? Which, now that I just said it out loud, I honestly think it was kind of stupid for me to ask that because metrics are important. But this is where I'm going to clarify what I just said. Metrics are important when they're not misused. So this is where metrics become an evaluating factor for your performance. Oh, your metrics aren't high? You must be doing something wrong. Or this is where it gets to be unrealistic. There's unrealistic standards and expectations from the metrics where, again, they want to extract, and I know I sound a little, conspiracy theorist here. But this is where they want to extract as much value out of you as much as they can with the least possible cost to them. It's crazy. But really good video, and I love these types of videos because they're joking, but it's true. And as a media major, the greatest major in the world, I think this is the best way to basically get people to learn something. You don't teach it to them in a boring way, you teach it to them in a great way like this. This was funny, this was great, this was cool. It was amazing. Let's go next.
Breaking news! Kim Jong-un and Putin are planning to meet in Russia to discuss weapons.
Jesus Lord. So, for those of you who don't know, the war in Ukraine is still going on current day, which is currently the 13th of October. In about 10 minutes, it'll be the 14th of October. But this is essentially where what ends up happening is, bruh, like, it's so funny. They thought that this war was gonna last, like, 2 weeks. Putin thought that. Now Putin massively fucked up, and he's been, like, going to everyone else to, like, beg for fucking help and, like, say, like, oh, everyone needs to stop helping Ukraine. And now he's going to all of our enemies, and it's like, oh my god, this is still going on. And, just a little spoiler alert for current day stuff. We're not going to get to it, obviously, this episode. But yeah, there's like a whole other war brewing right now. Not by brewing, I mean it's pretty much happening in Gaza. So if Ukraine wasn't enough, now we got fucking Gaza going crazy too. So yeah, great times. You know, World War III is on the cusp, and I really wish I was joking, like really jokingly, but I'm not. So yeah, Dark Dimension might be proven to a lot more people real fucking soon. Anyway, let's keep going.
Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea, plans to travel to Russia this month to meet with President Vladimir Putin to discuss the
Wow.
possibility of supplying Russia with more weaponry for its war in Ukraine,
Look at this. Look at North Korea looking so nice.
according to American and allied officials. In a rare foray from his country, Mr. Kim would travel from Pyongyang, North Korea's capital, probably by armored train, to
Probably, most likely.
Vladivostok on the Pacific coast of Russia,
Vladivostok literally sounds like a Russian fucking gun.
where he would meet with Mr. Putin, the officials said. Mr. Putin wants Mr. Kim to
Mr.
agree to send Russia
Putin.
artillery shells and anti-tank missiles. And Mr. Kim would like Russia to provide North Korea with advanced technology for satellites and nuclear-powered submarines.
So this is where, if they do this, which they probably already are, let's be honest, like in secret they're probably kissing each other, right? But this is where, if this happens, I honestly think the world is one step closer to getting fucked. This is where, like, you would think, right? There's checks and balances with these stuff. And by these stuff, I mean, like, with the leaders who get chosen for a country. This is where a lot of the times the people don't choose the leaders. They choose the people to choose the leaders, which, you know, hopefully was a little bit of a safeguard, but maybe not. Because now we have leaders who are literally willing and almost able to destroy the whole world if they wanted to. And, you know, no offense to Mr. Kim, but I don't trust him to make the best judgments. And if we start giving him nuclear weapons and stuff, I don't think he's just going to be waving them around. Now, granted, I don't know. I hope he's not that dumb, because if you test us, you know, and by us I mean America, it's not going to end well for us or you. So it's like, bruh, what are we doing? But granted, maybe our technology is just so far ahead because we literally burn money into war in our army that maybe we have the technology to beat them. Because it looks like Russia's shit ain't that good either. Even though they have the most nuclear warheads, I think, out of anyone, I don't know if they have the technology to back it up. But anyway, let's keep going.
The officials said, Mr. Kim is also seeking food aid for his impoverished nation. We urge the DPRK to cease its arms negotiations with Russia and
That's so funny how, like, you know what's so funny about this? Both countries are lacking in something. Russia always, like, taunted and flouted its gigantic war cock in front of the faces of the world. Be like, we're Russia, we're so big, we're gonna bully you. Like, there's literally a thing where Putin was meeting with Germany's leader, Miss Merkel, and he knew she was scared of dogs, so he literally bought a giant fucking dog just to upset her. It's like, this guy's an asshole. This guy's the stereotypical, like, Russian, like, strongman who needs to be just a dick because that's the image he wants to maintain. Which, you know, I understand it to a certain extent. You need to please your people. But it's like, bruh, are we past this already? Like, are we really still doing this, like, stupid kitty shit? And I hate to say kitty because a lot of things could be considered kitty yesterday and adult tomorrow. So it is what it is. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know.
abide by the public commitments that Pyongyang has made to not provide or sell arms to Russia. U.S.
But yeah, no, fuck. I remember what I was saying. My mind is sick. This is where Russia tries to flex its war cock, and little do we know they need Viagra. And then this is where for North Korea they like to show how cool they are and they're like how well dressed they are, but behind the dress you see like the country's starving, which is hilarious that they literally can't make food. Whereas in the United States we make too much food and then we still throw it out and refuse to give it to the homeless.
officials have stated. The official also warned the U.S. would take action, including imposing sanctions.
But I feel like imposing sanctions, like, that term is thrown around so often and so much. It's like, do they even matter? Does it even really do anything anymore? I don't even know.
North Korea did supply Russia with weapons. Breaking news!
Anyway, pretty cool video. It's not really breaking news anymore. This came out on the 4th, but it's interesting news nonetheless. Like I said, we're getting one step closer to world mutually assured annihilation.
We need to talk about why this little truck can't be sold in the United States.
Wait, why?
And that bigger truck behind it is the smallest Ram that you can get in the US.
Yeah, that's not that small.
This smaller truck here is the Ram 700, and it can't be sold in the US even though it's 40% more fuel efficient than the bigger truck, which is the Ram 1500.
Alright, so again, I've seen this video, but I don't remember the details. But let me just take a wild guess, because I'm a veteran at this shit, right? I bet you, because it's so fuel efficient, that the fuel companies don't want it because it's gonna cost, or it's gonna make you, the consumer, spend less money. It's all gonna be about money. Watch.
And just look at the difference in the hoods on these two trucks. How much lower the 700 is, how much lower those lights are so they're not blinding people in front of them. How
Yeah.
much lower this bed is, which just makes it so much easier to load. The 700
Yeah,
is
but
just
in America, everything has to be big, like big Whopper size.
so much more practical in so many ways than the 1500. So why can't it be sold in the
Tell
US?
us why.
This is because of CAFE standards, or the
CAFE?
corporate average fuel economy standards.
Oh.
These standards were designed to make it more expensive for automakers to make fuel inefficient trucks.
Okay.
The changes were made to the CAFE standards that created a loophole so that
Oh.
when a truck was bigger, it didn't have to have as much fuel efficiency. So
Oh,
automakers
so
just
it's about
started making
money.
Bigger trucks.
Surprise,
People were warning
surprise.
back in 2011 that the CAFE standard changes would mean bigger cars, not smaller ones. And coincidentally, around that same time, the average weight of a pickup truck had increased about 1,000 pounds from 10
Holy
years before.
shit.
And ever since CAFE standards, the average weight of a pickup truck has stayed above 5,000 pounds.
Oh my
So the US government tried
god.
to financially incentivize making trucks more fuel efficient.
And then they hurt themselves in their own confusion.
But they did such a bad job that the only thing they incentivized was making trucks bigger.
Like, just think about that. Just think about how good America is. My Congress, right? Think about how good my Congress is, where they tried to help and they ended up hurting more on something so simple.
And automakers were just like sharks smelling blood in the water and immediately jumped on one of the best financial opportunities they'd ever been presented.
Yeah, because fuck the environment, fuck the planet, let's just make a quick buck.
And all it took from there was a little bit of marketing money to convince millions of dudes that bigger trucks with smaller beds
Meant bigger PP size.
were better in every single way.
And means you have a larger wiener. Yeah, pretty terrible. But this is one of the rare examples where, no one lobbied the government. No one, like, influenced them. They're just so stupid that they fucked it up themselves. That they're fucking up the environment for all of us, because now we all have microplastic in us. But really nice video. Let's go next.
Good morning, bad news. The
Oh,
United
no.
States Senate is a corrupt, anti-democratic, obstructionist, and failed institution.
Okay, so, first of all, what else is new? But second of all, this is Good Morning Bad News. This is another regular on the channel. This is one of the main ones where what he says is mostly mired in truth. It's not false. However, it's very manipulative, what he says, how he says it, and what he chooses to omit. Where if I tell you, right, oh, the death rate is 10%, right? But then I tell you the full context of, oh, the death rate is 10% for women and 90% for men, at that point, that makes a difference. I didn't technically lie in the first one, but I'm omitting key information.
The only purpose is to kill good ideas when those ideas threaten billionaires and corporations. The Senate was originally created to keep power in the hands of rich white male landowners during the establishment of popular
Yeah.
democracy in the
I thought it was to just give power to the people, but, knowing back then and what actually happened, I do believe this.
United States. And the Senate should have been abolished in 1820 when it became a deliberate compromise on preserving slavery. But instead,
Oh.
it's been elevated as
Yo, look at Mitch freezing up. He's rebooting.
the most powerful institution in American government and is directly responsible for this country's current political,
Ooh.
social, and economic failure. The Senate has no place in our legislative system and should be abolished as soon as humanly possible.
You know what's sad? I don't fully agree with this. Like, I don't fully agree with almost anything. However, I almost fully agree with this. This is where our Senate is so stupid, is so bad. Yeah, there's a couple of good apples, like Jeff Jackson, I believe his name is, the guy from North Carolina. But aside from, like, him and a couple others, maybe, like, they're all just rotten to the core, and, like, they need to be cleaned out.
In fact, most other countries that have grappled with the failures of similarly powerful political aristocracies tend to reduce them to ceremonial roles that don't have any real power, like the House
Yeah.
of Lords in the United
What the hell is this guy wearing? Yo, that looks like dog fur.
Kingdom. But in the United States, our rich white elderly cabal of power brokers have unlimited minority veto power over efforts to reform institutional failures.
Sad. The whole system just feeds off itself.
The Senate is the reason we can't pass voting protections, marijuana legalization, universal healthcare, student loan debt forgiveness, a minimum wage increase, or any other ideas that if offered as a vote to the American people would pass with nearly unanimous support.
Well, yeah, because why would they do anything that we want that would help us? Is that what a government's supposed to do?
Even the Senate itself isn't ruled by its own majority. As we've repeatedly seen, the filibuster rule means that 40% of senators can single-handedly kill popular legislation. But the answer
Insane.
isn't to repeal the filibuster rule, it's to repeal the Senate.
Yeah,
Because
what the hell
fundamentally,
was
having an upper
that?
chamber of Congress that's based on the number of states, not the number of people, means that where people live is more important than what people want. There is a blatant disregard within the Senate for representing the country instead of representing the interests of the ultra-wealthy and the companies in which they hold stock. Because that's where Senate members make their outrageous fortunes while serving public office. And as time goes on, the number of people actually represented by the Senate is shrinking to effectively zero. Within 2 decades, less than a third of the country will hold 70% of the power in the Senate.
Insane.
And demographically, they will be white. Well,
Of course. And again, we know these things, and we're saying it even before it occurs, and nothing will change for the most part.
the United States continues
Unless you spread my video around to your friends and family.
to evolve
I stream at Twitch TV 6 Tecnics channel.
into a multicultural society where the majority is no longer mono-ethnically white, the Senate is nowhere close to reflecting the rest of the country. In the last 230 years, nearly 2,000 senators have wielded power in the United States. Only 11 of them were black, and 5 of them were Barack Obama, Tim Scott, Cory Booker,
Wow.
Kamala Harris, and Raphael Warnock. The average
Isn't
senator
Barack
is
Obama half
64.3
black?
years old. 2/3 of them are millionaires. 89% are white, 76% are male. By comparison,
Wow.
the average American is 38 years old and makes $47,520 a year. But you don't need those numbers to already know that the Senate doesn't reflect the average American. It reflects the wealth class of the United States and its relentless grip on power at the expense of everyone else. The Senate is a malignancy, a defensive wall against progress, equality, and justice in the face of a society
know
that's been
about
exploited
that.
by the wealth
I don't
class
know
for the
about
entire
that.
history of this country. Abolishing the
That's a
Senate
little
isn't a radical
crazy.
idea. It's the last sensible idea we have to keep America from total collapse, while senators actively siphon every drop of wealth and power from the American people to their
Okay, you
friends
might
and
not be
donors.
wrong
Thanks for
here.
watching Good Morning Bad News. If you want to see all of our scripts and sources for this episode 100% for free, or if you just like this channel and want to help support us and get this mug
Yeah, look at that cute little dog.
or these stickers as a thank you, you can find us on Patreon. The link's in the bio.
So, there's Good Morning Bad News. Again, I like that they cite their sources. This is where I question, does anyone look up on them? Because I'm always going to go back to one of the many examples of the wedding lady who was making, like, I guess a wedding website or a wedding cake or whatever. And this supposed gay couple went to her and asked for, like, her work. And she's like, no, I don't want to help you gays. And then it turns out that the actual people they were accusing weren't even gay, which is hilarious. And he said it's like scary how no one looked into this, even though it was public for so long, which is hilarious. Wait, let's go next.
If you've made it to 20 and you haven't cracked your first $1 million yet,
Oh,
you have to listen to this.
all right. So I didn't want to share this with anyone because I was like, I only want it for me. Because if everyone makes more money, that's going to be bad for all of us, because then our money's value is going to go down because there's so much of it. So I really had to, reward you guys as my fans for this. So I really want you guys to like, favorite, subscribe, and send this to your friends, family, and your kids. And if you don't, I'm going to find out where you live. Yeah, no, I really had to struggle with sending this to you guys. But here it is. Here's the big secret. How to make your first million at 20. Ready? Yeah, so basically I just wanted to point fun and laugh while pointing my finger at these stupid idiots on TikTok who are like, oh bro, look at me, I made 3 mil, I did drop shipping, I did this, I did that, why aren't you doing it? It's all a fucking Ponzi scheme, it's all like a triangle trade, it's all bullshit. Like, bro, if it was that easy, people would have done it already. Like, it's really not. Like, it's so sad how many of these people fall for these scams, and I would be remiss, I think that's the word, and I would be very dishonest if I said I didn't get caught by one of these scams too. But I did. But that's why I know they're bullshit, and you see them all the time throughout history. Because why? They keep being successful. Why? Because people are stupid. But yeah, it's sad. Anyone who tells you, wow, you haven't made this easy large amount of money in some easy way, like, follow me, right? And then when you follow them, they're like, yo, don't worry, it's really easy. And then it's not easy, and then you never make a profit, or you make very little over years while you're making them all the money. It's so stupid. Anyway, let's go next.
Hi, welcome to Canada. Unaffordable housing is right this way.
Oh, nice, just like US.
Hello, welcome to Canada. Inflation's at an
thank you.
all-time high.
Oh, nice.
Yep, shawarma plates are like $20. Yeah, I know.
What the?
Hello, welcome to Canada. Average cost of a 2-bedroom apartment is $2,700.
Wow,
Nothing's
almost
available.
like the
Good luck.
Bronx.
Yeah, keep going. Hello, welcome to Canada. Our news
Okay.
is censored now. No one really
Nice.
understands fully what that means. It all happened really quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Main people.
Hi,
a lot
welcome
of
to
people
Canada.
don't understand.
Oh, refugee? Yep.
Oh,
Here's your blanket,
give him a
Walmart gift
house.
card. Thanks. Have a
Give
good
him a
one.
house.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Hello, welcome to Canada. Oh, you're Canadian. Welcome back.
Oh,
Things feel different now.
they are.
You'll see.
Wow.
Hi, welcome to Canada.
That last one's kind of depressing. Holy shit. Again, just things are getting worse. This one was more of meant to be a funny one, a stupid one, but yeah, apparently United States isn't the only one who's kind of shitting themselves. It's kind of a lot of places, but us Americans only know of the US, so that's it. And I like the comments here. Shawarma plates being $20 is so real. And you know what's sad? This is all real. People see it, and we just don't do anything about it, or can we even do anything about it? I don't even know. Anyway, let's go next.
The Federal Reserve is
Oh shit!
predicting
All right, I
that
gotta.
Americans will
Oh shit! I gotta do a little. Gotta do a little intro for this man here. This is also what I hope to be more of a regular on the channel. I just don't think he has a TikTok, which is sad. But I gotta look into it, and I'm too lazy to. But this is Brian. I always recommend him on YouTube, and I'm gonna show you proof. I always have his tab open because his videos are just so amazing. Brian is such a nice guy. This is where, again, I always say question everything. But this is where I have very, very high trust in Brian, that he really is there, obviously to benefit somewhat off of us. If they say they're not benefiting off of you in some way, they're lying. It can be monetary most of the time. Some of the time it's emotional. But this is where, obviously, everyone tries to benefit off the other, at least to some extent. It's if you take it too far that it becomes evil, which is what the companies do. Because listen, working is supposed to benefit the owner and the worker, but it's not like that anymore. So this is where Brian, he basically says, and I truly do believe a lot of this, maybe not full of it, all of it, but I do believe a lot of it, that he's trying to give back to the community, he's trying to help us. And obviously he does have affiliate stuff, but Brian is so cool. I put him up there with Jeff Jackson. These are people who seem cool, seem real, and I really hope they are, because if they're not, and they come in as corrupt fuckers, I'm gonna cry or something, which is not anything new.
complete their savings by October. So this doesn't mean that the
Hey, look,
U.S.
we're in
economy is
October
going to
now.
collapse overnight, but it does mean that day-to-day life will become more challenging for everyday Americans.
Oh, joy.
So I'm going to give you the details, I'm going to give you the stats, but first I want to give you an
Man,
overview of the
Puffs,
situation.
you're
Okay, so
pitting.
right now, everyday Americans are struggling to keep up with their bills. If you feel
What
like you're
else is
living
new?
paycheck to paycheck, if you feel
You
like
are.
you're just running on the hamster wheel day in, day out, then
The great
I'm
machine.
going to show you this, and this is going to be a good explanation of why you feel that way.
Why are
So
we
I want you to
getting
take a look
fucked?
at this. The cost of housing has been ballooning out of control over the past few years.
Crazy.
This chart shows how much rent has gone up since 2020. Rent is
Wild.
up 18%. And that's just the average.
What?
I've read your comments in the previous videos. I know that in some areas, rent increases have just been staggering, well above 18%. Now,
Oh my
when you look at the
God.
housing market, so I cover the housing market pretty thoroughly. Home prices are near record highs. The 30-year fixed on mortgage
they're gonna
interest
keep
rates right
going
now
up.
is averaging 7.5%. So it's no surprise that home affordability is at record lows. Let's take a look at
Really,
vehicles.
The most
Here
low.
are used
And
vehicle.
let me pause right here. The most low, and again, think about this, right? In our short time, in our little time frame on the massive history of the Homo genus, right? We are going through so many first times of historical things, be it good or bad. It's disgusting, and something's not right. We're in the dark dimension.
Prices since 2020 up 44%. Isn't that just ridiculous?
Yes.
I analyzed the new car market, I analyzed the used car market for you. I'm just trying to help people get the best prices possible.
Thank you, Brian.
So please look forward to my next updates. Now moving on to gasoline. Since
Ew.
2020, gasoline prices are up 39%.
Holy
So
Jesus.
it's fallen from its peak, but gasoline prices are creeping back up. And as of today, in September, gasoline prices are up year over year. Now moving on to cereal and grain prices. So we're talking about your typical bread products at the grocery store. Up 29% since 2020.
Oh, what
So
the?
I've read your comments saying that before the pandemic, you can get a shopping cart full of groceries for $100.
Yep, now
And
it's
now
only
that
20.
same cart, it costs $150. It costs even more than that. So listen, it's clear. I mean, it should be very obvious that this is why everyday Americans are struggling. I
Yeah,
just showed you
our
some of
pay
the
is
most
not
basic
keeping
needs.
up.
I showed you housing, vehicles, gasoline, food. But these expenses, they're growing by 20. I mean, they've grown by 20%, 30%, 40%.
What are we supposed
Since
to
2020,
do?
wages have not grown by 20%, 30%, 40%.
Oh.
And everyday Americans are making up the difference. You know how they're doing that?
Credit cards.
They're charging more on their credit card, or they're
Yep,
dipping into
easy.
savings. And that is I mean, you know that's unsustainable and that's very stressful.
Something's gonna
Now,
blow
I want to tell you
up
this.
eventually.
I see many comments requesting that I come up with solutions, and I will bring you solutions. I will make those specific types of videos. My whole channel, my whole mission,
Ryan for
it's
president,
dedicated
man.
to financial education. I will bring you solutions. I prefer that we start off with baby steps, things that will be practical, realistic, and you'll be heading in the right direction.
Let's
Yes, I will
go.
make those specific types of videos, how to make more money, how to save more money, both
Let's
sides of the
go.
equation. So we'll get into that, but in this video, I'm just acknowledging that everyday Americans are struggling, and I'm letting you know why, and that's very important because first you
You
have to
always have
understand
to
the
know the
situation
why.
for you to improve your
I think
situation.
the why is one of the
Now,
most
I want to
important
point
things
this
to know.
out to you.
And look what he just said. You have to understand your situation to what did he say here? My mind is like so sick right now.
Your situation.
Oh fuck! No, no, I pressed down by accident. Fuck.
Inflation got out of control, but in this video, I'm just acknowledging that practical, realistic, and you'll be
Fuck, where
heading in
was
the right
I?
direction. Further financial education, I will bring a solution. It'll be practical. Yes, I will make those specific both sides of the equation.
Here we go.
So we'll get into that, but in this video, I'm just acknowledging that I'm letting you know why, and that's very important.
Here we go. Here it is.
Because first you have to understand the situation for
Yeah.
you to improve your situation.
Yeah, so if you don't know where you are, how can you get better? Right? That's the whole one of the main driving forces behind Dark Dimension TikToks. And you know, I'm very honest, or I try to be. This is where if people ever accuse me of being greedy, of doing it for the money, bitch, I haven't made fucking money on YouTube for however many years I've been on this platform. And these certainly don't make money. In fact, they lose me money because they cost me time. And time is money.
Now, I want to point this out to you.
Fuck.
Inflation got out of control. It just spiraled out of control because of all the money printing by the Federal Reserve. So
Thank
there
you,
are other reasons
Jerome.
why, but that was the primary reason. Okay, so
Wow.
inflation, it was made worse by corporate greed.
Of course.
Businesses were aggressively passing on costs to consumers.
That they didn't need to.
Consumers didn't put, so customers didn't put up resistance for the most part.
Well, also
so people
'cause we
kept
need
buying,
these
and
things.
corporate profits surged.
Amazing.
But now, right now, times have changed. Americans are more strapped for cash than ever. And
Wow.
corporations have recently realized that they just can't keep raising prices and have no pushback. So U.S. consumers are now more diligent in looking for alternatives, looking for substitutes if prices are too high. Okay, so keep that in mind because all of this is connected. I'm going to read you this statement. So I'm going to tell you this, and I know that it's going to upset quite a few people.
Oh, God.
But this is not coming from me. This is coming from the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco.
Of course.
So the U.S. Federal Reserve has been consistently saying that the
That
Federal Reserve...
nothing, because that's where the clip ends. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed that little intro, or not intro, because we've seen Ryan before, but I really hope Ryan makes a TikTok and, like, I could just send all his videos to myself, because they're so good, they're so informative. But anyway, yeah, our government is getting fooked. Our just monetary system is getting fooked. This is where, again, it costs money to live, and it's ever increasing. So, it just doesn't make sense. Like, wages for the normal, average, everyday person and below are just not enough. And if that's not enough, how have we not rioted yet? I just don't know. Anyway, let's keep going.
All right, your total's gonna be $3. How much is it?
Oh,
$3.
ew, that sounds
Sorry,
like
we don't take
me.
checks. Okay. I see you still writing that check. I can't do anything with that. Yeah. The pen ain't working. We don't take checks. Oh.
I thought that was my
Is
phone
that
for a second. Holy
your
shit.
phone? That's not my phone. Hold this. Why are you carrying this with you?
Hold it. What the fuck?
Shit. Okay.
What the?
Hello? Hello?
Ew.
You take checks?
This
Alright,
is so
it's gonna be-
hilarious now. This is where, like, I guess it can be related to the dark dimension in a way. Because, like, God, is this so true? And, like, are just people make the dark dimension a reality. Obviously, the people in power share the most blame. But regular, everyday people, excuse me, they also make this place unbearable to, like, live in sometimes because they're so, like, dumb and stupid. And it's infuriating. Now, this is where... Fuck. Honestly, I forgot what I was going to say. That cough messed up my whole flow. But yeah, no, great video. This was pretty funny because, yeah, working retail is stupid. Anyway, let's keep going. Did I skip it? No, I
What is
didn't. Cool.
Japanese working culture like? If you could describe
Terrible.
that to someone who doesn't know
Terrible.
much about it.
So I bet a lot of people think it's about the crazy working hours, but it's not. It's more about the culture.
Really?
I mean, yeah, we do work a lot, but
Yeah, too
I know
much.
there's other countries
Too
that
much.
work longer too. But I think it's the culture where older people have more power is
Oh.
what's making Japanese working culture so extreme.
Crazy.
And the more traditional and conservative that company is in Japan, the more extreme it gets. For
Oh,
example, I used to
God.
work for a corporate bank which is like top tier conservative in Japan.
Ooh.
And things I had to do was really crazy. So first of all, younger people like new grads, they're not considered as workforce. They're considered as mules.
Ew.
So people like me, as a new grad, we had to do everything.
You
about
had
the
to
company,
wipe
like
their
for our boss.
ass.
We had to come in early to clean their desks. We had to fetch water or drinks when clients are over for
So
them.
they had to
It's
be
the
the bitch.
primary new grad's job to get the phone whenever it rings for the whole office. And we're
Wow.
not allowed to go home as long as our managers are still staying working. We
Terrible.
even had to come up
Like
for
a
an entertaining
slave.
performance and practice after work with our fellow new grad teammates to show to our senior managers at our own welcome party. I know, it doesn't make sense at all.
Bruh.
And this doesn't matter how much of a degree you have or how good you are or how smart you are. Like my colleague had
You
a
have to start
master's degree
somewhere.
from Seoul University, which is like top tier university, and she still had to do the same mule labor work as I did.
Terrible.
And this
But
is all
that's the
based on
system.
the notion that older people are just better than you.
Which
And
now
younger
the
people
case
have to
isn't
do
anymore.
everything to just
This is where they did have an argument back in the day. Back in the day before technology really like spiraled out of control. And by control I mean like and how advanced it is. They probably did have a leg up because that's where wisdom really did matter. It still matters, but just not as much.
by them. So yeah, after 20 years, maybe it's your turn to enjoy that happy hierarchy. But until then,
No.
just say hi to high suicide rates and depression.
Yeah, because that's totally acceptable. Yeah, so this is sad. This is basically just going into like the culture of Japan where, you know, you would hope after the old people kind of like move along and the new generation comes in, they'll be different. But either a couple things happen where it's either like retribution, like they try and take revenge because they had to do it, so someone else has to do it and serve them. Number two, they're just stupid, which is probably the most likely one. But number three, they just end up, you know, perpetuating it themselves. This is where, again, I don't understand how this ends up being allowed if the people don't allow it. And that's because the culture has such a vice grip on the people. It literally doesn't make them change. It's crazy. Like, Japan is such a scary place to live if you're, like, not, like, tough as bricks. It's wild. Anyway, let's keep going.
We decided to implement unlimited holidays and fully flexible working. The first thing they said to me is, hold on.
This is where unlimited holidays are so bullshit because they say quote unquote unlimited, but they really don't mean it, and it's so ass. I hate when people are like not specific, but even more so when they're intellectually dishonest. Where again, it's like, oh, that's not the whole context, is it? Like, oh yeah, you have unlimited, you know, vacation, but if you use too much of it, we're gonna dock your pay. Well, it's not unlimited now, is it? You fucker. They're like, no, you could take it. You just might not have a job. Okay, well then I can't take it. You fucks.
Hold on a minute, that's completely the opposite of what we want. That's less control, not more. I'm like, look, give it a go. If after 2 weeks it's all gone horribly wrong, you can cancel it and I will pay. We'll make sure you're not out of pocket. So they tried it and they came back to me at the end of a month and gone, well, that's weird. It didn't have a negative impact. We're still not sure of the positive, but it definitely didn't have a negative impact. So we'll try for another couple of months. And after 3 months, we sat down and we looked at the numbers. Productivity had gone up 40%. Revenue had gone up, so they'd had the best quarter they'd ever had.
No
and
way.
staff turnover had gone down to 0. But the most important figure, and this is what really blew us away, was that the amount of holiday taken was exactly the same as the same period the previous year. So essentially,
fucking
productivity had gone
way.
up 40% and it had cost the company nothing. And when we dug in a little deeper, what we realised was that when you treat people like adults, they behave like adults.
Yeah.
People
My
wanted to
job
be there,
doesn't
they
do
wanted
to
to do
me.
the job.
Well, this is where he's false. People don't want to be there. They want to do the job. They don't usually. If you do, you're lucky. But this is where most people just want the money and they don't mind doing the job, at least hopefully. Unless you're in my position where you hate it.
They just didn't want to do it on somebody else's terms. We decided to implement unlimited
So
holiday.
yeah, this is crazy. It really goes to show you again, right? There's all these research, all these studies. Now again, I don't know how much there truly is, and I know there needs to be like thorough testing and stuff, but this is where there's things that just make sense, have so much support for them, and it's something like this where I don't think it'll cause like, you know, a new virus or breakout or something, right? It's really just just treat people like adults and like give them what they should have as adults. It's harder to do with like, you know, stuff that's free though, because that just brings in all the fucking miscreants. But you know, this is fully right, but a little I mean, it wasn't even advocating for like a limited PTO. It was just using that example. So yeah, this is a pretty good video.
Holidays and fully.
Anyway, let's go next. Yeah, this cough syrup is really kicking it. Like, I'm already wanting to like slump. Crazy.
I need your help, man.
Oh.
Quiet quitters have taken
So this is another guy who we often have on the channel. He's just more funny, not really informative, just straight up funny.
over the factory. What does that mean? You want to know what it means?
What does it
Frank,
mean?
What? Can you work over 4 extra hours today?
For free.
No, man, my kid's got soccer practice. I ain't gonna be able to stay over. You see what I mean? You see what I mean, man? Oh, God. What are we gonna do? What am I gonna do? That's a perfectly reasonable explanation to why he can't stay over 4 hours. No. It's not his schedule.
No.
You're asking him to stay over 4 hours.
I love
He
that.
has something to do. How
No.
is that quiet quitting? Watch. Hey, Jimmy, can you learn Rhonda's machine so you can run it when she's not here?
They're gonna increase his
That's a tough
pay.
one, Steve. Does it pay extra money? No, it does not. Then you can suck my balls from the back, good sir. I will not do that.
Wow.
Explain that, Mike. Explain that.
I wish I could do that in my
Take
job.
on the extra responsibility if you're not going to pay him. This is not quiet quitting, man. This is.
And even then, quiet quitting is such a manipulative term, because what is quiet quitting? It's just literally doing your job. Like, are you serious?
You wanting more than what you hired them to do,
Which is what my
and
job
you're
does.
not going to pay them extra for it. There's an easy way to fix all this, Steve.
Pay 'em more.
A pizza party. No.
We're all family.
No, that is never the answer. I mean, we could do like all you can eat bologna biscuits. Yeah, people
What
love bologna.
the hell?
Listen, man, when you work for a company and they hire you to do something, everything already is so expensive these days.
Yes.
And when we get hired on to do something, we're not making that good of a wage. And
Yup.
then you guys
Biggest mystery of the
refuse
world.
to give out raises each and every year. All you
Exactly.
do is you want to do pizza
They hoard
parties,
their
all
wealth.
this other bullshit, instead of paying people money, man. It's hard to live out here. There's
Yeah.
not some fucking nefarious reason to why people don't want to do extra work. They want to be paid for it, man. It's already
Damn
hard enough
straight.
to live. When you work for a company, there should be a give and take. Okay,
It's crazy how
There
long
should
they're
be
keeping the camera
a
on
give and
this
take
side
to
of
where
it.
a company can make their money, and then people can also make their money and be able to live comfortably. But you guys refuse to do that. You want to just nickel and dime
He's
everybody
really going
to death.
in.
And
It's true.
It's hard to live right now. So if you had even the slightest bit of compassion, you would know how to fix this automatically. There's only one answer to fixing all this, and it's super, super easy.
Oh, what is
I
it?
think
What
I'm
is it?
picking up what you're putting down, man. I think I got it. You're a smart guy, Mike. I told you, it's not as hard as you think it is.
It
man.
really isn't.
People just want to be able to live. That's it. That is all we want to do. We just want to be able to live happy, spend time with our family, be able to buy our kids some stuff, and the only thing that we can use to do that is say no more, man. I already know how to solve all this. You were the man. I'm gonna change the whole atmosphere. There you go.
Oh
man.
my god.
That's it right here. Be the difference, man. I am gonna be the difference. Hey Frank, what's up, Steve?
Oh my god.
I need your help, man.
Yeah, you know, that's not even that surprising. This is where we saw what happened with the fucking Hollywood strike and stuff, at least as of current. And yeah, the billionaires literally want them to starve before they'll accept demands that will actually cost them less than what it's costing them now, which is crazy. But wait, really nice video. I'm really getting out of it now. I think the cough sleep medicine is really starting to affect me. So again, this might be a shorter episode than usual on account of my sickness, but we shall see. Let's go next. I want to try and get a couple more out.
When you arrive at six figures in 2023, and if you live in the city, you realize it is just enough to get by.
Yeah, we can't afford the life that the boomers had because
Oh.
we're currently paying the bill for the
Oh,
life
no.
that the boomers had. Look, the economic growth that they lived through was built by switching to a purely debt-based economy. And
See, this is where I question, like, is it really us paying the bill? Like, I don't want to blame one party or society as a whole too much, because you kind of lose sight of the reasoning, right? This is where, like, I don't understand this.
And now we're in a situation where the global debt is at $305 trillion, whereas the
Amazing.
global money supply is only about $40 trillion, which...
So we're literally making, like, IOUs with things that don't even exist. Like, post-it notes. It's hilarious.
Means there's about 7.5 times
Did
as
you
much
hear me
debt
laughing?
in the world as there is money. So
Wow.
obviously this debt is not designed to ever be paid down. When you borrow
Amazing.
money, you're essentially borrowing against your own future labor, right? You get money now, then you do work in the future, and you use the money you earn from that work to pay down your debt and the interest. When the
Or you just try to be like me and try to be a degenerate who stays in his room all the time.
entire economy is debt-based, you're essentially buying economic growth by borrowing against the labor of future generations. And that's us.
Yep.
They essentially bought their lives by leveraging our future. Essentially, we
Wow.
can't afford to plan for the future because we're stuck paying for the past. We can't afford to have children because we're currently paying for our own childhood.
Insane.
You arrive at 6 figures.
So again, I've showed this in the past, but the general theme is just housing prices have gone fucking out of control. Like it's, oh god, so bad. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's go next.
Hi, my name's Soren
Oh my god, this thing isn't even short. It's 4 minutes.
Pendragon. I'm running for Senate again. Who uses your power and influence to maintenance?
Okay, so I think here's where we're actually gonna end it, believe it or not. Just because I don't want to go through the whole video, I think I actually might fall asleep on like video, but we're not gonna do that. So instead, even though it was a shorter episode, I do apologize. I know everyone loves these, but you know, this is where I have to prioritize around health. So we didn't get through a lot, but I feel like we did some rapid fire, so that's fine. But anyway, that's pretty much gonna be it. Like I said, Twitch TV/Tecnics channel. It's a big ad for that. Come watch me stream and be sick and stuff. Hope everyone enjoyed. I'm out of here.